Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to do a quick video. This morning I was going to make a video about privacy coins because for some reason they're holding up all right, to be honest with you. And Zcash leading it. We've got XMR, Monero obviously, which is, to be fair, that's the one I've got the most of. And then we've got XVG, old school classic sort of inbred retarded sort of coin, but still showing signs of life. So, quick flick at Bitcoin, wrecked city on the daily. No real signs of any change of direction. On the 4 hourly, well, you see a little bit of a bounce, only to be rejected right now on the 20 and the 21 exponential moving average. Fine, it is what it is. And on the weekly, a bit of a wick coming up now. We will have another hidden bullish divergence drive here. Money flow index is now into the green. Still, it is 30. There's plenty of money to be drained out of this one if it had to. But the only thing that I'm hoping to see at the moment is if this monthly can remain above the 20 moving average. So reclaiming $86,000 to $87,000. Anyway, that being that, let's move on to a little bit of privacy, shall we? Let's a little privacy over here, please. Right, Zcash. So, you can scour my YouTube over the last couple of years, and there's a couple of videos where I was anticipating a very big move on Zcash. Now, this is bigger than I expected, and I have sold incrementally on the way up here, and I only have about 25% of my original holdings still riding here. It's just the way it is. The rest, obviously, I've turned into cash using for futures, and I've picked up some other alts, which have obviously got wrecked as well. But that is the name of the game. But this one, for some reason, is just continuing to pump. Now, there's no reason to suggest that this can't continue to pump beyond where it is already, other than the fact that everything on this chart is saying, don't buy me. So, I suppose the beauty of a chart like this is if you are in from the lows, then you can, like me, again, afford to just see what happens to the little bit that you've got left. Your risk tolerance plays a big factor into whether or not you are in this still. But for me, like I say, bought about a couple of years ago, some significant lows, about $30 or something like that, maybe even less. No idea. I then sold in these increments, and now, the 25% is riding. Now, if I was to tell you that there is a chance that this could go higher, I wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. It's not. I'm not having you on. It can, and it has, and it continues to do so. But when the money flow index is at this significant level on a monthly, you don't want to be buying it. Same thing with the weekly. The money flow index is significantly high on a weekly, and we've seen the week this week for the first time actually start to come down. So people taking profit. Why wouldn't you? Eh? Why wouldn't you? Profit's there to be taken. But if this is the leader of the privacy coins, there are other privacy coins out there. Now, I had a decent amount of ZEC. Made a song and dance about it, as far as, a hodl that I was interested in this cycle, and here we go. So finally, one of them has played out in a parabolic way. I suppose XRP did a parabolic move as well. We've had a few little parabolic moves here and there, but this is a crypto example of something parabolic. So what seems to happen when you have these narratives is that other charts start to benefit from it. If they're lumped into the same sort of, what do you want to call it, utility. XMR has always been a bigger hold that I have when it comes to privacy. This is the biggest of the privacy coins that I have positions in long term, because love it or hate it, I understand the utility. It's used, isn't it? And again, this isn't anything new to the majority of people who watch my channel. I've spoke about it many, many times. So if there's a hodl out there to have, this is one of them. All right? Reason being, it's a darknet currency. Whether you like it or if you don't like it, that's what it's used for. And that's a multi-billion-dollar industry right there. So you don't need to be scouring the white papers of, super smelly new bank token. You don't need to do that, because if you've ever been to the dark net, or if you've ever heard about the dark net, you would recognize that actually, who needs a white paper? You can see it up and running and in full effect. No, look, I'm not here to agree with that. I'm just here to say that that's what's happening here, and there's demand for it. It's being used. It's, in a way, it's what crypto's all about, isn't it? Really, free privacy, real money, end to end, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? It's just people just using a currency off the grid, and it reflects on the charts. This is one of the things I've always told, when I talk about the people who stop me in the queue at school. Go, I was wondering if you could help me with the cryptocurrency side of things. Yeah, I know that that's what you do, so I'm quite interested in it. And I always hold off from allowing these people for me to effectively manage their portfolio, because there's nothing good can ever happen with it. They either make money and they're disappointed because they haven't made $1 billion, or they lose money and they blame me as if it's something that I've done. Yeah. So it's a lose-lose situation for me. But on the rare occasion that I do say to these parents in the school queue, fine, okay, I will point you in the right direction. I always try and take put as little risk on the table as possible, and this is one of the coins that I've suggested to all of them. And so all of these sort of middle class parents now are all holding XMR. Reason being, it's a darknet currency with real world utility. And they're all there, with their woke coffee in the morning, and Hessian bags for their sourdough. Talking about how they've invested in cryptocurrency, but they don't really know what they're talking about. But if they did, the justification would be that there's a giant market out there for illicit goods, and it uses a particular currency, and I'm trying to benefit from that. Which it's just right in their woke sourdough faces. Anyway, look at the state of it. This is a weekly chart. Bang, 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 bang. It's not really getting that weak either, to be honest with you. And we pulled back dramatically and got hit exactly on the 20 moving average. This is an up-only chart. Now, I'm not suggesting you buy this, but I'm just recognising, again, another chart out there which benefits from the utility. It looks like utility has been the key, hasn't it, this cycle, if you want to call it that over the last few years. You're not going to get anywhere if you're not being used for anything. And here we go. This is a great example of something that is being used. And it's even been taken off a lot of the major exchanges, which caused some of these big dumps. Some of the best dumps we had were caused from that. This one is where we basically went to town on it. I remember making a video about it, saying, look, guys, look, this is not going to die. It will not die. The infrastructure is already there for it. This is basically an opportunity to buy. And look at the state of it. Pow! Well, look, I know what you're going to say. 300%. Yeah, it's 300%. Yeah, I know, it's only 300%. It's better than no percent or minus percent, isn't it? Anyway, so that's a good one and continues to look good. So let's move down to the short-term time frames to see how we're faring up. It's obviously benefiting off the back of Zcash. I still think that a chart could be read on this one and interpreted as a bullish chart. Messy, but bullish. And recovering and continuing. And I like it. And again, one of my larger hodls. XVG is my little pet here. I've been trying to long this one. Well, I am still in a relatively successful long on this one, actually. Again, you can see the results on the Telegram. This long has held through all these dumps, actually. It's continued to remain over the last couple of weeks in profit by a few 100% still on this one. And who knows where it's going to go. There's a chance it could go and do a bit of a Zcashy type vibe. Moving over to the daily, bouncy bounce on top of your golden cross, which is nice. This is a daily golden cross, so we're finding support on that. Move over to the 4 hourly, we're above all moving averages. Again, with now any sign of weakness here. It's vulnerable to the market, don't get me wrong. If the market wants to pull back, XVG will also pull back. And if we look over here on the weekly, we're looking to perhaps maybe close a candle body, a green candle body higher than all the previous ones, which would be above all the moving averages, which might suggest that we try to move up to this previous trend line, 1.8 cents. Now, I am not saying buy this These aren't for revenge trades or anything like that. Like, I still think that there's a very good chance that the market does recover from all of this. I'm not here to call for bear market. I'm not saying consistent bull market. There was always a good chance, to be honest with you, that that Bitcoin was going to, and crypto was going to finish in September. We had that that fractal, didn't we, from a time perspective, which always pointed to September as far as the time is concerned, it would run out. And so far, it actually looks like that has been the case. But like I said yesterday, we have seen in previous bull markets whopping crashes and then continuations. This could just be a whopping crash and continuation. Stocks don't look like this. Forex doesn't look like this. It's simply a crypto-y type vibe, which makes me wonder. Does make me wonder. Now, we've seen all kinds of whopping moves in previous bull markets. And I just wanted to point these things out to you. Yeah, these things happen. There's a 39%, okay? That's a big one. Here's a big one too. Here's a 40%. All in the context of a bull market, or roughly around the same sort of times, really. Third to fourth quarter. I'm not saying that this is like this and this is like this, and so this must do this and this must do this and this. But when you've been in crypto for long enough, you know these sort of moves, they are just part of the normal day. You know what I mean? They don't stress me out. It's part of the normal day, and we haven't seen stuff like this in a little while. And I think there is a panic in the markets that it's all over, and perhaps maybe it is. But again, reflecting on this little guy over here, the dominance chart, it does tell me one thing, which is it's a clear rejection from a 20 and a 21 exponential moving average on a weekly. So in a high-term time frame suggests downtrend on this chart, which actually points to uptrend, at least for altcoins versus their Bitcoin pairs. That's all it says. Now, again, risky, obviously. Is it too rich for your blood? Maybe it is. It's getting a little rich for my blood, but again, I'm still there making trades and for the most part making money. So let's just sit back and watch and wait and see if this actually does work. Because if it doesn't work, then yeah, I'm screwed once again. But from a futures perspective, it is a lot easier so long as you have risk management. Just keep those stop losses in, because if you get it wrong, no big deal. You can always afford to have another trade the next day or the next week. Don't keep your trades on with no stop loss, otherwise you will be sad. That is you out of the market officially at that point. You won't be getting back in again. As you keep your stop losses nice and tight, fine. Every support is worth a shot. And that's what I've been doing myself. Again, some have worked, some haven't. I'd say probably most haven't at this point, but there's still money to be made this way. And the dominance chart does point to altcoins outperforming Bitcoin, believe it or not. Which I suppose that wouldn't be a strange thing, because you see the size of the dead cat bounces, these huge bounces, especially when liquidity is drained out of the system and all the cells have gone. Basically, it doesn't take much money to pump a chart really anymore, so you get these huge big moves. I think we are pending one of those soon. The problem is where from. The dominance chart says it could be any minute, any time. Individual altcoins don't really give much of an idea because they're not in uptrends. It's just those privacy coins, from what I can see, they're in uptrends, which is why I wanted to lead with those as an example of there's stuff out there that can look good, and perhaps maybe it is primed for a much bigger move. Obviously, we've already seen it with ZEC, but XVG and Monero potentially can do something similar. But all altcoins would benefit from a setup like this on the dominance chart anyway. The main problem is where you're going to get in from, because most of them are below all major supports, and so they will likely just move from nowhere, which makes it really hard to get in. From a support. If there is no real support, then the market just moves as one. Anyway, stick to what I say. It looks like we're getting ready for altcoins to outperform Bitcoin, at least for a week or so, starting any minute now, perhaps already started. But I'm not here to prescribe a trade for you. I'm just here to tell you what it looks like and what I expect to happen, and this is what I expect to happen. Right, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Maybe I'll see you on the live stream tonight. Feel free to join the Patreon with a link in the description below. Other than that, have a nice day. Take it easy.